Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Gana. Shakti Deha Kore Yena Chaitanya Varnana. Jaya Jaya Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Gana. Shakti Deha Kore Yena Chaitanya Varnana. So we're almost halfway through the third chapter of the Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila. And this chapter is entitled The External Reasons for Lord Chaitanya's Appearance. So we'll do a quick recap before we start today's discussion. So the chapter started with some very interesting verses, indicating the rare appearance of Lord Krishna in this world. So once in a day of Brahma, once in 4.3 billion years. And then when the Lord came with his associates and performed these wonderful pastimes, exchanging different mellows of devotional service with his associates, he goes back, and then what does he think? What comes to his mind when he goes back to his transcendental realm? Huh? That I have not given devotional service. Yeah, so for a long time, I have not bestowed on all the living entities this pure prem bhakti, bhava bhakti. And without that, what is the condition of this world? Right. Huh? Bhakti vina jagatera nahi avasthan. What does that mean? Bhakti vina jagatera nahi avasthan. Right.
More joy.
Okay. Not livable. Yes. It's practically useless. It doesn't have any existence. The existence doesn't have any meaning. It's useless without prema bhakti. And so what does the Lord decide? Yes. So he decides that, okay, I'll personally come and teach bhakti. And to do that, what form does he take? What's the most effective form? He takes the form of a devotee. To teach bhakti, he becomes a bhakta. And why is that important?
Leading by example, leading by example.
Yes, leading by example. So, and what does that mean for us? Follow the footsteps. Okay, but more concrete answer. If we relate it to Lord Chaitanya's appearance as a devotee and the importance of behaving properly as a devotee, right, in order to teach Krishna consciousness, to setting the right example. So what does that mean for all of us? Yes? Yeah, but how are we going to preach?
Unless somebody is not practicing, he cannot guide others.
Yes. So we have to become sincere practitioners. If we want to share Krishna consciousness with others, the first thing is that we have to become very sincere in our own practice. And unless we become sincere in our own practice, our preaching will not be effective. And this is whose conclusion? Whose opinion is this? That practice and preach. Huh? Mahaprabhu's opinion?
So all this is Bhagavad Gita.
Okay. So it is, look at verse number, let's see which verse is that. Look at verse number,
Gita and Bhagavatam.
yes, it is the opinion of the Gita and the Bhagavatam, which is in verse number 21. Very, very significant verse this is. आपने ना कोई लो धर्म सिखाना न जाया. Again, let's do it again. आपने ना कोई लो धर्म सिखाना न जाया. एते सिद्धांत गीता भगवत गाया. So this siddhant, this conclusion is of which scriptures? The Gita, the Bhagavad. So apane na koilo dharma. If we do not practice sincerely dharma ourselves, then shikhana na jaya. आप सिखा नहीं सकते. It's beautiful Bengali. Okay. So this is a very, very practical application of Lord Chaitanya's example of coming as a devotee and living so purely as a devotee. Because these are not just some nice pastimes. Yes, they are the most wonderful pastimes, but these pastimes also have a lesson for us. Can you hear me now? And Krishna says that to give devotional service, can any of his incarnations do it? Huh?
No, no.
Establishment of dharma anyone can do, but love of Godhead only Krishna can.
Yes, prema bhakti, Krishna has to personally come and bestow. And this is another very important point we studied last time. And what does Kaviraj Goswami compare him to?
Lion.
Like a lion. And so he's bold, he's fearless, he's regal. And what does he drive away?
Elephant like vices.
So what does that mean? Like elephant-like vices? Okay, but elephant-like?
Strong.
So they may be gigantic. But the roaring of the lion, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, can drive away the greatest of the greatest vices. And then we discussed the first prediction of his appearance. What was the first prediction? Huh? Prediction from Shastra that yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to appear. First reference, where was it?
In the Bhagavatam, in different colors he appeared.
So who predicted that?
Garguni.
During the naming ceremony of Krishna, he mentioned that this same boy with the darkish complexion, he has 3 more colors. And he appears in 3 other yugas in 3 different colors. And then we also discussed one more reference from scripture. What was the second reference we discussed? From another scripture. It's not the Bhagavatam, it's not the Gita. Take your notes. Huh? Where the 1000 names of Vishnu? Vishnu Sahasranam. Which script? Mahabharata. And there's a beautiful verse that describes his, if you look at text number 49, in his earlier pastimes, he appears as a householder with a golden complexion. His limbs are beautiful, and his body smeared with the pulp of sandalwood seems like molten gold. In his later pastimes, he accepts the sannyas order, and he's equipoised and peaceful. He's the highest abode of peace, silence, impersonalists, non-devotees. A very beautiful verse. Text number 49. This is the last verse that we discussed. Yes. No, last time we did 49. And one last thing that we learned is how beautiful Lord Chaitanya is. And his beautiful features like his eyes, his complexion, his nose, and then how tall is he?
7 feet, 6.9 feet.
Yeah, he's almost 7 feet, 4 cubits. So almost 7, feet in height. Very tall and majestic. Yes. Yes, very symmetrical. Like which tree? Banyan tree. Yes.
Hands are
Yes.
long.
Yes, hands are long. And what's his another? Okay, he's very beautiful externally, but along with that,
Equal to everyone.
yeah, so he's beautiful also. His character's nature is also very beautiful. It's very peaceful. It's very gentle. And he's equipoised. And he sees everyone with equal vision. Very beautiful characteristics. So you have to meditate on this and you have to remember these. Otherwise, again, our mind would be filled up with a lot of other things to make us forget the Lord. So we have to remember this, and at least even if we can remember 1 or 2 things, then at least it gives us the mind something to focus on and meditate on and go deep into it. So today we are going to discuss a very, very interesting section where Kaviraj Goswami is going to continue to elaborate the beautiful characteristics of Lord Chaitanya and how that, he comes to this world. He has an amazing plan for all of us. And he has certain assets or you can say certain qualities, certain attractive features to attract us towards him. And some of them we've discussed, and now the rest we will discuss in this session. Mostly in this session, we should be able to complete that. We may have only a few more verses related to these beautiful features of Lord Chaitanya, his so-called weapons to deal with the precarious situation in Kali Yuga. In all other incarnations, he comes with certain weapons. But in this incarnation, he doesn't come with any weapon that causes external pain, that can externally hurt anyone. He doesn't have a chakra, he doesn't have a sword, he doesn't have anything, he doesn't have a mace, he doesn't have any weapons to kind of hit anyone or to strike anyone. But where is he going to strike us? He's going to go right into the depths of our hearts. He's going to capture our hearts. And for that, he comes with some special artillery. So one of his things is, from what we've discussed, what do you think is one of his ammunition? What is ideal behavior? Okay. Okay, Sankirtan, holy name, right? What else? Physical beauty. Beauty attracts people. Material intelligence.
His qualities like compassion.
Yeah, so we haven't discussed so much his compassion yet. But the things we've discussed is that he's an exemplary devotee. He inaugurates the simplest process of meditation or yajna for this age. So the holy name, the simple chanting of the Lord's names is another weapon that he comes with. That we have, there's been a mention of that. And there's been a mention of his beautiful inner nature and his external features. And today we will go further into some of his other weapons that he comes with. Okay. And in this section, we will also discuss the most defining quality of Lord Chaitanya. What is Lord Chaitanya synonymous with? And this is what we'll discuss in the next few verses. And we're going to start with verse number 50. And this is a very, very beautiful verse, which sets the scene for the rest of the verses, especially the next, this section which is related to the holy name and Lord Chaitanya. So he starts with a very beautiful verse. So we're going to all recite this. Vyakta kori bhagavate kohe bar bar. Vyakta kori bhagavate kohe bar bar. Kali yuge dharma nama sankirtan sar. Kali yuge dharma nama sankirtan sar. Recite again. Vyakta kori bhagavate kohe bar bar. Vyakta kori bhagavate kohe bar bar. Kali yuge dharma nama sankirtan sar. Kali yuge dharma nama sankirtan sar. So it is repeatedly mentioned where in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Vyakta kori bhagavate kohe bar bar. And what is repeated? That in Kali Yuga, what is the dharma? Chanting of the Lord's name. And if you see from the Bhagavatam, right in the first canto, 8th verse. I think it's the 8th verse. Let me pull up the Bhagavatam. You have the Bhagavatam on your phone? So let's look at the Canto 1, first chapter. There's a beautiful verse. No, it's not the 8th verse, sorry. It's the 14th verse. It says, living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. Right in the beginning of the Bhagavatam. And similarly, the Bhagavatam concludes also with this same similar type of verse. That in Kali Yuga, what is the dharma? Nama sankirtana yasya sarva papa pranashana. It destroys all the vices of Kali. This is right in the 12th canto, in the concluding verses of the Bhagavatam. First, first chapter in just the 14th verse. And then in every canto, we will find so many verses regarding the potency and the importance of chanting the holy names of the Lord in Kali Yuga. How it is our saving grace. And no matter how sinful we may be, no matter how much baggage we may carry, for the holy name, it's nothing. And now there is the third prediction. Again, this is from the Bhagavatam in 51, where Karam Bhajan, right, the saint, he's forecasting or he's foretelling the appearance of Lord Caitanya. So he says, O king, in this way, the people in Dwapara Yuga worship the Lord of the universe. In Kali Yuga, they also worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the regulations of the revealed scriptures. Kindly now hear of that from me. So this is a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he's speaking now. And now he's going to reveal the verse that how in Kali Yuga we can worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is this famous verse. So we will all recite together. Krishna Varnam Thusa Krishnam Sangopangastra Parsadam Yagne Sankirtana Praye Yajantahi Sumedasa. So in the age of Kali, what kind of people will perform Sankirtan? Yajantahi Sumedasa. Those who are actually intelligent, they will take up the process of chanting the holy names. And to worship whom? Krishna Varnam Thusha Akrishna. So Krishna Varnam means repeating the syllables Krishna, Thusha with a luster, Akrishnam, not black. So worshipping the incarnation who is repeating Lord's names, but he's not blackish in color. And he comes with his associates, Sango Pangastra Parshadam. So his astras are who? His parshads. Sang, Sa Anga, along with his associates, and Upanga, his servitors, which are devotees. So Anga means his expansion, And then further expansion are his devotees, servitors, Upanga. And with these confidential companions, Parshadam, he comes. And there is this beautiful purport, very, very significant point that Srila Prabhupada makes, and he quotes Jiva Goswami. So he says that Jiva Goswami has explained this verse in his commentary on the Bhagavatam known as Krama Sandarbha, wherein he says that Lord Krishna also appears with a golden complexion. The golden Lord Krishna is Lord Caitanya, who is worshipped by intelligent men in this age. And we heard of his prediction from Garga Muni. Now, the meaning of Krishna Varnam, it has two meanings. That Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in both their names, there is Krishna. So Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. So Krishna is in both, right? And the other thing is that the other meaning of Krishna Varnam means that Lord Sri Chaitanya, he's always engaged in describing Krishna and thus enjoys transcendental bliss by chanting and remembering his name and form. So two meanings of Krishna Varna, that he has the same name, Krishna. So when we address Mahaprabhu, we say Shri Krishna Chaitanya. So we are repeating the syllables Krishna. And what is Mahaprabhu doing with his lips? He is constantly repeating the name of Krishna. And Lord Krishna appears as Lord Chaitanya to preach the highest gospel. And he says one thing very, he says, he appears before everyone as Krishna, either by personality or by sound. Simply by seeing Lord Chaitanya, one at once remembers Lord Krishna. One may therefore accept him as Vishnu Tattva. In other words, Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna himself. And in this incarnation, now in the next paragraph, we hear that what are his real astras? So we've covered that how his body is beautiful, it's decorated with ornaments. And by his super excellent beauty, he subdues all the people of this age. In other descents, the Lord sometimes used weapons to defeat the demoniac. But in this age, the Lord subdues them with his all-attractive figure as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Jiva Goswami explains that his beauty is his astra or weapon. And then he also comes with so many of his parishads. Lord Chaitanya is always accompanied by his best associates, by Lord Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar, and Srivas. So we will see later that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes with a solid team. So he's come for a purpose in Kali Yuga, to dispel the darkness. And he is the perfect team player, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Although he's the Supreme Lord, he can do everything himself. But no, what does he do? He comes with a team. And all the credit will go mostly to his team players. See, Lord Chaitanya, did he write anything? That also he recited in deep madness for Krishna. He didn't write anything. Who did he make everyone write? Yeah. We say Lord Chaitanya is most merciful. But actually in the Lila, who turns out to be more merciful than Lord Chaitanya? Yes. And not only him, but even when Lord Chaitanya gets, angry with some of his devotees, what happens? All the other devotees, they come. Swarup Damodar comes. Haridas Thakur comes. They all come to plead to the Lord that, hey, come on, please forgive. Huh? So even though we address him as the most merciful, but actually he even relinquishes that position to his devotees, to his team. So this is an amazing quality of a leader. This is the true quality of an exceptional leader. That he surrounds himself with the best of the best. And he gives them responsibility. He's there with them on the ground, but he gets everything performed in such a way so that all his team players and captains will be recognized. He makes even the captains, we will see there are two captains. Take a guess for the two captains. Okay. 50 out of 100. She got one right. Huh? Okay, 0 out of 100. No. Recording is on?
Just wanted to say.
Yes, it should be. Yes, it's on. Sumit Kapoor Prabhu, he has his camera on. He reminded me right in the beginning. Hare Krishna. So who are the two captains? Huh?
Rup Goswami and
Rup Goswami, no.
Nathan.
एक सही है वो. आपने दो, एक बोला हरिदास ठाकुर, एक बोला नित्यानंद प्रभु.
नित्यानंद प्रभु तो हो गया.
How many for Nityananda Prabhu? Okay, 100 on 100 here. At least for one of them. Now who's the next one? Oh, yes, there you go. Advaita Acharya, the two most senior. They are the captains. And which tattva they are in? So these three, Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda, and Advaita Acharya, they're Vishnu tattva. So they are two captains. And the last thing in this purport I want to mention is that Krishna Varnam Thusha Akrishnam indicates that prominence should be given to the name of Krishna. Lord Chaitanya taught Krishna consciousness and chanted the name of Krishna. Therefore, to worship Lord Chaitanya, everyone should together chant the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then he concludes by this beauty. He says, to propagate worship in churches, temples, and mosques is not possible because people have lost interest in that. But anywhere and everywhere, people can chant Hare Krishna. Thus, worshipping Lord Chaitanya, they can perform the highest activity and fulfill the highest purpose of satisfying the Supreme Lord. So encouraging. He also says that that instead of engaging in such external pompous exhibitions, all people, regardless of caste, color, or creed, can assemble together and chant Hare Krishna to worship Lord Chaitanya. So no fanfare required, no big tents, no this, no that, no big buildings. We just congregate in a small apartment like this and chant Hare Krishna. How difficult is it? And now he's going to tell us. He's going to tell us, now listen. Suno bhai ei soba Chaitanya Mahima. Okay. Now this is going to be the defining verse that describes Lord Chaitanya. Okay, he says, listen. Suno bhai ei soba Chaitanya Mahima. এই শ্লোকে কহে তানরা মহিমার সীমা So this slok now that he's going to share, this clearly summarizes his activities and characteristics to the ultimate limit. Mahimar Sima. So the limit of his greatness is going to be described in the verse that we're going to chant now, 54. Krishna ei dui varna sada janra mukhe. Otova Krishna kiti ho varna nija sukhe. So Krishna ei dui varna. Listen to this description. So Krishna, these two syllables, ei dui varna, sada jaru mukhe. Always in his mouth. So this is Lord Chaitanya. This is his ultimate greatness. What's he doing? He always has Krishna's name in his mouth. Otova Krishna kiti ho varna nija sukhe. And he's describing the Lord in such great happiness. ऐसा नहीं है कि गुरु ने मंत्र दे दिया, क्या करें, कितना बड़ी जिम्मेदारी दे दी, इतना भार, रोज सवेरे उठो, जपो, है ना? This is our condition, unfortunately. But Lord Chaitanya, he is describing Krishna with great pleasure. So this is the defining verse of Lord Chaitanya's greatness. You see how beautifully he has done this. Kaviraj Goswami. And he says there are two meanings of the word Krishna Varna. And how now in the next few verses, he's going to tell us that how this Krishna Varna in this verse in the Bhagavatam refers to Lord Chaitanya. Why does it refer to Lord Chaitanya? He says, if someone tries to describe him as being blackish, of blackish complexion, the next adjective, Tvisha Akrishnam, immediately rejects or restricts him. So Krishna Varnam, if you try to describe him as blackish, you can't do that, because the next one, if you say this is referring to Krishna, you can't. So who's this Krishna who's being referred here? Krishna Varnam. And because his complexion is not certainly blackish. His not being blackish indicates that his complexion is yellow. In the next verse, in the 58th verse,
If someone says that Krishna means blackish complexion, then the next word is Tvisha Krishna.
Tvisha Krishna. So that means he's not blackish. That means he's another color.
I mean,
He's, yes, not Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the one who's being referred there. Gauranga Mahaprabhu is referred as Krishna Varnam, right? So now if you say this is Krishna, but because there is Tvisha Krishnam, right? So because he's not blackish, this is being referred to Lord Caitanya, who is golden. Okay.
God means his complexion, Krishna means black.
So Krishna Varnam also means the name is Krishna. Okay. Yes.
That is what Lila was coming this week.
Yes, we have discussed that in the purport. So he's Krishna, right? And another way of, as you said, the color as well, right? Krishna Varnam. So, but Jiva Goswami has described in a different way this explanation. Okay. So he didn't refer to his color. Color is not blackish. So that rules out Krishna. Rasikesha Prabhu has a question. He has raised his hand. Yes, Rasikesha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, pranam.
Yes, Pranam. Prabhu.
Prabhuji, just I think I've heard somewhere about this Krishna Varnam also. That word also refers to jati, no? Which word, Brahman word, which word we belong to. So, but this personality belongs to Krishna word, that he belongs to the category of Krishna. So that is something also refers to this Krishna Varnam.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. But in this, even in the word-to-word translation, the Krishna Varnam is being translated as, in verse number 52, repeating the syllables Krishna. Okay. So Acharyas give many different explanations. So, but the main thing is, because it is Tvisha Krishnam, it rules out Krishna. Right? Okay. That's the main point. And where does this color come from? Now we get the first hint that why Lord Caitanya is golden complexion. So this, we hear from this verse from Rupa Goswami, from Dvitiya Shri Chaitanya Ashtaka, right? From the Stava Mala. This is the first verse, which is verse number 58, Kaviraj Goswami quotes. He says, by performing the sacrifice of congregational chanting of the holy name, learned scholars in the age of Kali worship Lord Krishna, who is now non-blackish. Now he's giving the reason. Why? Because of the great upsurge of the feelings of Srimati Radharani. Why is he of golden complexion? Because he has the bhav of Radharani. And he is the only worshipable deity for the Paramahansas who have attained the highest stage of the fourth order of sannyas. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Caitanya, show us his great causeless mercy. Now in the next few verses, again, very, very significant verses that described that how his golden color, like when we think of gold, or we think of also the sun, right, dispelling the darkness. So his color, his molten golden color, which dispels the darkness of what? Not the night, but of ignorance. So Lord Chaitanya has come to dispel the deep ignorance in our hearts. Because our real suffering, as we will hear in the next verse, that why do we suffer in this world? Okay, ignorance. What does ignorance cause?
Wrong
Also
identification. Wrong identification.
Yeah, wrong identification. What else? When we identify ourselves incorrectly, what follows?
We forget our constitutional position and we behave in a different way than we should actually do.
Yeah, so we commit many sinful activities. So ignorance of our real identity leads to us performing many sinful activities. And when we commit sinful activities, what happens? How's our future? What are we setting up ourselves for? Suffering. So in this next verse, number 60, Jivere kalmash tamo nash koribare. Anga upanga nama nanastradhare. So the sinful life of the living beings results from ignorance. Jivere kalmash tamo is come to destroy our ignorance. Because tamo means kalmash, sinful activity. So he's come to destroy nash koribare. And how is he? He's come with all his associates. He's come with different astras, nana astradhare, many different types of astras. The name, his associates, his devotees. And many times we wonder, what is sin? What is ultimately sin?
Anything against the religions.
Okay.
Looking for yourself in your
Okay, very, very nice. You're almost there. Like just a little bit and it'll be perfected, the answer. Yes, and yes, you're close, but specific something.
You against the
Against the devotees. Yes.
we do something for
Don't look at that one, next verse.
only our
There you have read the verse. So very simple definition that anything that we do that is against our devotional progress is sin. Whether it's dharmic or adharmic. So now you must say, hey, this is fanatic. Like, what do you mean dharmic or adharmic? How can dharmic activity be sinful? Let us read this verse. Bhaktira virodhi karma dharma va dharma. Tahara kalmash nam sei mahatama. So bhaktira virodhi karma, dharma va adharma. Very, very strong statement. So if it is against the principles of bhakti, whether it's dharmic or adharmic,
Which kind of example dharma can go against devotional service?
use your intelligence to come up with the answer. Yes. Charity.
So that matter, I mean, for example, of many humans who were trying to do religious activities to gain some power,
Yes.
like Ravana. So
Very good example.
Probably, but that would not be called dharmic.
they were
No, they were doing tapasya.
But tapasya's purpose is not dharmic.
No, tapasya is part of dharma, is it not?
But no, the purpose.
Okay, now purpose is what? If it is not bhakti, then anyway it is. So, but it's dharma. Tapasya you can't say. Krishna says dan, tapasya, these should be never given up. Yajna, dan and tapasya. Tapasya you're doing. People do so much tapasya. Yes. And dharma with the purpose to please Krishna. You have to be specific. So no room for any addition or subtraction. It's a heavy statement. Unfair statement. Huh? You all are convinced? Huh?
It is heavy, Prabhuji, because at least I was not aware that even like, for example, if we are attending someone's wedding, it is not a devotional activity, that it is a sin.
Okay, that's a very good point. Now, what purpose did we go for the wedding for?
It is a social obligation, you can say.
Okay, social obligation. What kind of social obligation?
To please that person.
To please that person.
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you go there to enjoy the big assortment of,
Yes,
nowadays
huh? Yes.
huh?
Nowadays it's yes.
Here also, here also.
No, hold on. So if we go to say like our colleague's wedding, okay. So should we go there and enjoy the food there? When does it become sinful? Okay, just going to the wedding, right, to keep a relationship, is that sinful? But going there with the purpose of enjoying, wow, it's a wedding, there's going to be Chinese and there's going to be Italian, there's going to be, all these imported fruits, right? And they have, all these mocktails and drinks and chaat papdi and
But probably it sounds more like that you are going to Sargloka for chanting. Like you are going to Sargloka, you have all the options now.
yes,
Like you have just mentioned, all the fruits and all everything. And now you are not just just touching it because it's very difficult project. But after coming into devotion, it's easy to understand, but otherwise it's very difficult to follow that.
no, so we are talking about devotees. And for devotees, I'll give you a simple formula. Just eat to your full prasad before you go for the wedding. Everything will seem pale. And then you can, if you really want to honor, as you go honor some fruit, salad, whatever. I remember when I used to, huh? Yeah, honor, but you're not, there to enjoy. You're just as a formality, you're doing it. I remember.
But in that case, it is not a devotional service in that case, right? If we go by this definition,
So-
anything which is not devotional.
Yes, so devotion in the sense that ultimately, as a devotee, you have that job. You have a job, you have to work in that team. Through your job, you are maintaining your devotee family. So if you have to go there occasionally, it's not like, for every wedding you get dressed up and you go. But seeing the situation, you go. You have to see where your presence is going to be required.
The office is easier to understand.
Ah.
What about relatives? Shall we boycott?
No, we shouldn't boycott,
Yeah.
but then you set yourself your limits.
Overall purpose should be.
And we, need something. And we offer it to Krishna, and we offer it. Still we gonna encourage some.
No, see, it depends on your mood of, it's all the intent that, what, तो चलो आप चलते हैं, श्री विष्णु तो हो ही जाएगा, है ना? So, see, if you're looking forward to this, that means that we are really not progressing. We need to get purified further. No?
For a wedding party, out. We have no other option.
Yeah, so when you have no option, then it's okay. And basically, see, whatever we do, if we're honest to ourselves, we know which mood we are in. Right? How much we're remembering Krishna. Right? Yes, but so initially we may have that. Because of our conditioning, we may have that. But if you really want to progress in devotional life, then ultimately we shouldn't be so excited about these things.
That naturally comes as a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing artificially there.
Yes.
While not.
No, but initially we have to pray. We have to pray because when we are going through that purification, the desires are there and they trouble us when we are in those kind of situations. So we have to pray before going, pray when we are there, and then gradually as Krishna, hears our prayers and he reciprocates. So it doesn't mean that we artificially boycott everything, our relatives, the weddings of our colleagues. But gradually, over time, you become very intelligent about how to spend our time, where to invest our energies. And even if we have to go, and we have to go, there are situations we have to go. But the intent should not be there, to enjoy, there'll be all kinds of Bollywood music and then we can dance and have a great time, Chalo, mauka mil gaya, I want to break free.
Missing for some time.
Kavi ye gira hai na, we should put that records and kirtan play karo. Everyone will be thinking we are dancing on the Bollywood.
So,
You start losing taste in all of this. And if you hear it, you'll not, feel the same, passion or something. That comes off.
okay, we'll continue. We'll have this discussion more. Okay.
I have a question from the previous.
Yes.
Probably the previous words, Krishna Varnam, Tushar Krishna, Sangam. So in the last we say that Yajanti is Sumed Sa. So you said that, who all are, chanting the holy name of Lord, they are intelligent. But Roji, somehow, like, I'm just expressing it. I don't agree with that I'm very intelligent or, because I believe that we commit so many mistakes in our day-to-day lives by thoughts, by behavior. So probably how should I take it? Like,
Yeah, so we don't take these things as, okay, now I have become intelligent because I'm chanting.
But
right?
I got
But Yes, we are intelligent. Why? Why are we intelligent? Because we are engaging in the process of the age of Kali. Now, if you start reciting mantras and doing yajna, are you intelligent? You're not intelligent. Krishna is saying here, I'm giving you something really simple. And you want to go and you want to do that. You want to do all this Dhanavad Parikrama for. Did the Goswamis do Dhanavad Parikrama? They were busy chanting, mostly. So sometimes we think, doing physical austerity, people are equipped with this kind of understanding that unless we really, inflict pain on this body, do some really, far out tapasya, then you're really not performing any dharmic activity. That's actually full into Shastra. It's not intelligent. Intelligence is that when Krishna is saying, I am there in my holy name, there is no difference. This can root out all our anarthas. Kali kalmasha nashanam. So if this has the power, then why should we become unintelligent? And we'll see in, just hold on. There's a beautiful verse coming. And now, see, in these beautiful verses, this next verse 62, these are all verses that we should memorize. So everyone raise your hands and we recite this verse. Bahutuli hari boli prema drishti chai. Koriye kalmash nash premete dubai. Koriya kalmash nash premete bhashai. So this is the perfect description of Lord Caitanya. When we see Lord Caitanya, what does he have? He has his hands raised up. Bahutuli Hari Boli. He has both his hands raised up. He is just chanting, in ecstasy, the names of Krishna. And what is his vision? Prema Drishti Chai. His drishti is of Prema Drishti. And he's looking at everyone with so much compassion. And just by his chanting and his beautiful appearance, he is Koriya Kalmashanash. He destroys all our sinful reactions. And he floods us. Premete Bhashai. So such a beautiful. He floods us with the love of God. So he prays in the next verse that may that supreme personality of Godhead in the form of Lord Caitanya bestow his causeless mercy upon us. His smiling glance at once drives away all the bereavements of the world, and his very words enliven the auspicious creepers of devotion by expanding their leaves. Taking shelter of his lotus feet invokes transcendental love at once. So anyone who looks at his beautiful body or his beautiful face becomes freed from all the sins and obtains, what does he obtain? Pai Premadhan. Tara Papa Shai Hoy. Pai Premadhan. So these are not some poetic verses. If you really take shelter of Lord Chaitanya, we can all experience this magic. So we'll spend another 5 minutes and then we'll stop. Vishnu Charan Prabhu is saying, why now? Huh? How many of you are pressed for time? Tomorrow is Monday. Huh? Okay.
Prashadandi, we have 15 minutes only.
So in the next few verses, we've already discussed that how in other incarnations, the Lord descended with armies and weapons. But in this incarnation, his soldiers are his plenary parts and associates. That means his expansions, Vishnu Tattva, his devotees, Jiva Tattva, and his Shakti like Gadadhar Pandit. And they perform the work of weapons as their own specific duties. And there is another, so the main thing to understand is that if you look at verse number 71, that the word Anga indeed refers to his plenary portions. Such manifestations should never be considered products of material nature. Right? So his Anga is like Lord Nityananda, like Advaita Charya. They should never be considered material. They're all transcendental. And in this purport, Prabhupada explains transcendental math, that 1 plus 1 is equal to 1, and 1 minus 1 is equal to 1. So who will explain this?
The shloka only.
Ah. Om Purnam Adha Purnam Idam, right? Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Shishyate. But what does it mean? Explain. 1 plus 1 is equal to 1.
God is complete in this in himself. Any portion goes, any incarnation comes, he is also complete, and Lord is also complete at the same point.
Okay. So even though the Lord is expanding, what happens? That in the realm of absolute, 1 plus 1 equals 1, and 1 minus 1 equals 1. Therefore, one should not conceive of a fragment of the Supreme Lord in the material sense. So what does it mean? Just because the Lord expanded means he's become less. He's still complete. And his expansion is also complete. Okay. So this is transcendental mathematics. 1 plus 1. So although the Lord is adding, he's expanding as Advaita Charya, he's expanding as Nityananda Mahaprabhu, right? Nityananda Prabhu, sorry. So he is still one. Okay. And they also one. They also complete. And the Lord is no less just because he has expanded. And then what is 1 minus 1 equal to 1?
We have so many incarnations coming out of the Lord, but still he maintains his identity as himself. There is no no diminution.
Yes.
And
So this is the nature of Krishna.
जैसे भगवान से आगे जो अवतार होते हैं उसमें कुछ गुणों का फर्क होता है ना?
There are some qualities, yes.
Some qualities. But then
But they are complete. You'll see Prabhupada writes here. See that. Okay. In the second last paragraph, in the category of Vishnu Tattva, there is no loss of power from one expansion to the next, any more than there is a loss of illumination as one candle kindles another. So one candle lights it up, another candle, what happens?
another candle, there is another candle with the same.
Yeah, the same, right? So thousands of candles can be kindled by an original candle, and all will have the same candle power. In this way, it is to be understood that although all the Vishnu Tattvas from Krishna and Lord Chaitanya to Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, and so on appear with different features in different ages, all are equally invested with the supreme potency. But they don't display all the qualities. Just like God at home and God in the office. Not God at home and God in the office. Just if you say the president at home and the president in the office. Okay. The president in the office will restrict himself in certain things. But at home, he is fully, his sweetness blossoms. Maybe nowadays it's the other way around. For us. So,
तो काफी समय आती है I think that I really don't understand these things much.
Anyway, that is not to be contemplated too much.
Yeah.
Not allowed. No, I, but that's the reality, right? Usually we tend to be harsh with I'm talking even with myself. We may, shout at our, wife or our children, but with you and like, what a gentle, it's true. So truth should be discussed. Maybe, but not too much at the expense of not discussing the Lord's pastimes. So in 73 or 72, right, here we get Sri Advaita Prabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu are both plenary portions of Lord Chaitanya. Thus, they are the limbs of his body. The parts of the two limbs are called Upangas. So like Srivas Thakur, they are Upangas. And they're all equipped, all these weapons are competent enough to crush the faithless atheists. Okay. So we've discussed the two captains. So here it's being confirmed, in 74 and 75, that who are the captains and who are the team members. So these two captains, Shiva Sadi Parishad Shanya Sangaloy, Dui Senapati Bole Kirtana Korai. 75. Dui Senapati, who are the two Senapatis? Yes. So, and both of them, they destroy the unbelievers. They subdue them and they destroy them. And then now the last 3 verses, so very, very important. Okay. We're all going to recite these verses and then we'll open up for questions. Sankirtana Pravakta Sri Krishna Caitanya Sankirtanya Yagyatanre Bhaje Shai Dhanya. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is the inaugurator. He is the Sankirtana Pravartak. He is the inaugurator. And whoever worships him through this Sankirtan, Shai Dhanya. Very, very fortunate. So very intelligent, very fortunate, but we should not become proud that, okay, now I'm intelligent, now I'm so fortunate. But yes, we are. Why? Because we are trying to take shelter of this most fortunate and this most potent and this most intelligent process given. That's why we are intelligent. Because we're taking shelter. And now see, this is Kaviraj Goswami's nishtha, is absolute faith in chanting the holy names. Let us say this very prayerfully. It says, Shaita Sumedha Ara Kubhutti Samsara Sarva Yagya Hoite Krishna Nama Yagya Sara. So he says such a person is truly intelligent, whereas those who have poor fund of knowledge, kubuddhi, right? One is subuddhi, one is kubuddhi. Why kubuddhi? Get stuck in this repeated cycle of birth and death because you're not taking the real solution that is available for us, that Krishna has come to personally give in the form of Lord Chaitanya. This is Sarva Yagya. Right? It is the sar of all the yagyas. Nama Yagya Sar. Now the next verse. Koti Ashwadha Ashwamedha Eka Krishna Nama Sama. Je Koi Se Pashandi Danda Tariyama. Koti Ashwamedha Eka Krishna Nama Sama. Je Koi Se Pashandi Danda Kar Tariyama. Now this is his ultimate faith in the chanting of the holy names. Right? One who says that 10 million Ashwamedha sacrifices are equal to the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna is undoubtedly, right? What is he? He's an atheist. And he will be punished by whom? By Yamraj. And you can say, this is fanatic. This is fanaticism. Do you think this is fanaticism?
Faith.
Huh?
Firm faith that
This is real nishtha. And this is not just nishtha, this is the truth. And if you think that 10 million Ashwamedha sacrifices equals to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna, then we haven't understood the potency of the holy name. So if we haven't understood the potency of the holy name, then what's our position? We have just, we have just invited Yamraj to come and punish us. We're caught in his trap. So these verses are, this is reality. And we have to pray that once, one day we can understand this reality. Because then we'll take up this process sincerely. Because of our lack of faith, we put our energies in so many different things. The real power is the simple chanting the holy names with attention, with the right intent, with a sense of helplessness. And Krishna, we need you. Help us love you. The whole process of bhakti, whole process, all this knowledge, all this gyan, to bring us to this point of offenseless chanting. Because that gives us prema. So if you're really if you really want to strategically think of our devotional lives, what's our real obstacle? What's our real obstacle? You just said first thing.
Attentive chant, inattentive.
What else? Be precise. What is precisely our challenge?
Maintaining a calm behavior every time. I mean, not behaving like a devotee in provoking situations.
Think of what we just discussed. What have we discussed? Not just in this. The whole theology. Right? If chanting is the method, it's the process, right, for this age. So what's the real obstacle? How many are there? 10 offenses. So what should be our endeavor? Yes, not to have faith in the chanting of the holy names and to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas.
Only body offenses to कभी होते हैं when the mind is not in our control, is not stable. So the major challenge, at least what I feel, is of the mind.
Yes, but how we going to control the mind?
By engaging it in the right direction. Again,
Yeah, so again by chanting,
again.
attentive chanting. You can say, ab nichod ke, sar nikalo. It all comes down to the 10 offenses. And of course, there are offenses in deity worship, there are offenses, against it. Devotees, of course, is there in the 10 offenses. But these 10 offenses, they're a serial obstacle, for all of us. So they're basically slowing down our progress. To chant inattentively is also an offense. That is the 10th offense. So inattentive chanting, chanting with material desires, these are all things that ultimately they keep us wrapped up in a vicious cycle. We start getting disappointed. Think, what's the problem now? I'm not getting any taste. So many years I've spent. So where's the taste? Does this process actually work? But we are not asking ourselves. Basically, this is a evaluation matrix of our bhajan. One is a positive, how attentive we are being. And the other thing is, to what extent are we minimizing the anarthas in our, these offenses in our lives? And some of them are subtle. So anyway, thank you so much for listening with patience and attention. So we will stop here, and any concluding realizations you want to share for another maybe 5 minutes, 7:15, then we'll stop.
Prabhuji, 4-5 verses before, it is written that Advaitacharya and Nityananda Bhagavan are two captains.
Yes.
And their soldier is Srivasacharya. Only Gadadhar Pandit name is purposely not written because he is Radharani's avatar.
Yeah, so he is Shakti Tattva.
Because of that only it is not written.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not written.
Because he has also done so many things.
Yeah, so it's not that he's not. No, he is also an astra. He's a major astra. But he can't mention. Otherwise, you have to mention.
Because that's what I'm.
Like full volumes he'll have to write on each associate. No. This is just you have to.
Okay. We are getting the idea.
Yeah, we're getting the idea. Obviously, there's so many other apart from Srivas Thakur. There's so many other devotees. They're all pure, devotees. Okay? He does mention many in 3-4 chapters will come in the Adi Lila, where he's discussing the descendants of Lord Caitanya and descendants of Nityananda. And so there is brief description there's a mention of each one. But I mean, if he was to, go and, describe each one, then it'll become unmanageable, the project. Yes, Mataji.
Last month, there was a Brahmin Ghosh from a Prabhuji in Chandigarh. So there were nearly 25 of them, and because cooking was over till 9 o'clock. So I was just wondering if you wish the prasad would have because the other side, my in-laws are totally Karmic people. So, and there are मैं सोचती मैं मानसिक करूँ या अलग से जाके करूँ. I was also wondering कि जो भी ब्राह्मण आए उनको प्रसादी मिले तो ज़्यादा अच्छा है. I had a desire.
So everybody were wondering, elderly people were in the kitchen, में कैसे करूँ क्या करूँ. They were all busy in other arrangements. मेरा बस focus ये था कि मैं इसको प्रसाद में कैसे convert किया जाए. So ऐसे अलग से पेड़ लगा के तुलसी रखी क्या something, but क्योंकि सब घेरे हुए थे, I was the only alone over there. तो मैं कुछ कर नहीं पा रही थी. So all of a sudden I was just praying कि कैसे हो ये सबको प्रसाद मिले आज के दिन. So just all of a sudden my mother-in-law came. तो क्योंकि ना मुझे बस अचानक ध्यान आया तो वो प्रसादी खाती है ना तीनों टाइम ऑफिस में खाती है ना मेरे यस मेरे तो पानी के ऑफिस चल जाओ शी गॉट द तुलसी लीफ एंड शी वाज चल वो बना सकते और तो इनका रखे हुए राधा श्याम सिंह क्या खा रखी हुए हैं तो सब तुलसी ना तो जाके अपना वो बना तो ये बस आपने प्रेयर का कोड लिखा है
Yes.
रेसिप्रोकेट हुआ बिकॉज़ टोटली कुछ भी नहीं सकती थी कि उस दिन वो पेशाब बन सकता था.
नहीं और ये होता है. Anyone who prays sincerely, anyone, no, Krishna reciprocates. This is the beauty of bhakti. That there is real reciprocation. Otherwise, how can we practice bhakti for even whatever level we are practicing? How can we practice this for so many years? We feel there is reciprocation. Otherwise, how is it possible that we can avoid all so many? Okay, we are not perfect, we are far from perfect, but still there's so many things we are able to avoid that people think like you guys are from some different planet.
And one more thing, in those 13 days, Ekadashi Ayuthi. I just told my in-laws कि ये एकादशी बहुत important है, सबको रखनी चाहिए. नहीं, शुद्ध आदत लग गया है, एकादशी नहीं करनी, गीता नहीं पढ़नी, चैंटिंग कर दो यहाँ, माला भी रख दो. मुझे और एक बार ट्राई किया कि हमने एकादशी लगी नहीं है, सभी को रखना जरूरी है. बट सभी नहीं आदत लगा हुआ कोई एकादशी रखनी, तुझे भी नहीं रखनी, ठीक है, नहीं रखूंगी. तो राम माता की मेरी डॉटर्स की समूह मैनेज है क्या एकादशी ऑन हॉलिडे इन फ्रंट ऑफ द प्रेजेंटेटर है इमीडिएटली. जैसे ही 13 डे के बाद फिर एकादशी आई, जब बाहर वालों ने बोला कि आप लोग 13 डेज वाली एकादशी रखी, एंड शी केम टू मी कहती गलती होगी मत क्या हो गया, कहती भाई एकादशी रखनी चाहिए थी, जो तुम्हें बोली थी हमने रखी नहीं. तो बोला था यदि ये वाली रख लो अभी तो भी वो तो चलेगी ना, तो सबने रखी. अपनी क्रॉस के रूम के सही.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing. So anyone online has any thing you want to share? Any questions?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam.
Mataji.
Prabhuji, I have one question. It's said that in Kali Yuga, it's only Yugdharma is chanting the holy name. But Keval Harinam eva Kevalam. But we are giving more priority to deity worship also. So can we say that Kali Yuga is a process of chanting and deity worship?
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has, there's 64. So the question is that, if chanting is the dharma sar, then why are we, spending so much time doing deity worship? So the deity worship is given to us so that actually we can become regulated in our chanting. It is to help us become cleaner externally and internally. Because most of us, we will not just be able to only chant. So deity worship has been given to us as a process that out of all the 64 items of devotional service, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told us that 5 are most important. So out of which those 5, there's chanting, there's hearing, there's associating with devotees, there is visiting Dham, and there's deity worship. So for most of us, because we are products of the mode of passion and ignorance, so we need some activity also to balance just the chanting. There are very few of us who can actually just only chant. So we also need some engagement to help us stay regulated. So deity worship is a perfect way to become regulated also in our chanting. And become clean, and also develop a personal relationship with the Lord. Because chanting, maybe we're not able to see the Lord directly initially. So chanting along with deity worship becomes more personal. It's a more personal connect. So it's a very well-rounded program. If you really analyze these 5 activities, they give us a wholesome experience of bhakti. You know, like raising a family. Suppose if you don't have deities, it'd be so difficult to engage the children. It'd be so difficult to engage our consciousness that who's the actual proprietor of the house? Who's the real controller? Is it the wife? Is it the husband? Who's the real enjoyer? So deity worship, we should not take it up. We should not take it as insignificant or not important. It is important. But yes, Lord Chaitanya has also said that chanting, out of all the items of devotional service, chanting is most important. But Prabhupada writes in many of his purports, he says hearing and chanting are most important. Because if we don't hear, we'll not know the importance of chanting. If we have not discussed this section and experienced the nishtha of Kaviraj Goswami, and we need to hear this repeatedly. So that's why Prabhupada says, I shared one in my, yesterday in the temple, I shared in the offering, that Prabhupada says in the first canto, in one of the purports to the, I think in the 8th chapter, he says that when the hearing process is complete and perfect, then all the other processes will become perfect automatically. Just think about this statement. When the hearing process is perfect and complete, then all the other processes will become perfect automatically. Now, so we're hearing, chanting, and associating. Because you can't hear just on your own. You have to hear in the association of devotees. We can't chant on our own. You have to chant in the association of devotees. So practically, if you take all these 3, they're like inseparable. Okay, Mataji, is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
So just to make it more clear, so out of these, so these 5 things we have to give equal importance, right? That's what it.
So, if we are not able to, then we have priority. We have been given priority is 16 rounds.
Okay.
So we have a vow to chant 16 rounds, so we must do that. I can say, I did 7 hours of deity worship, so I could not do my rounds.
Yeah. So as you rightly said, that this deity worship is to help us regulate our life.
Yes. And form a personal bond with the Lord. It is a powerful method. But in Kali Yuga, if we can't, for example, if we don't have the possibility of deity worship, but we can chant. Maybe when we grow older, maybe we can't, do regulated deity worship. The body doesn't help us. Then what will we do? So we have to have, because ultimately, as the body becomes weaker and older, chanting is the one that we can hold on to. And also hearing, we can just play a tape and hear. Although we may not be able to hear with so much. But anyway, whatever is helpful for our chanting, if it takes 8 hours of deity worship to help you in your chanting, do it if you have the time. But you have to keep your vow of chanting 16 rounds. There are pujaris who are doing, 7, 8 hours of deity worship. And they're also chanting their rounds. So according to their inclination in bhakti, that's perfect. But someone wants to only, chant all the time, that's also perfect.
When someone wants to
hear 8 hours a day and chant, 16 rounds, that's also wonderful.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
No, he said that when we are living close to the temple, we should give the temple deities the priority. अब हम सब अपने घर में deities रखें और temple में कोई नहीं जाए सेवा करने, then it is not, how will we build a community? How will the temple worship of the deities go on if everyone sits at home and doesn't help in the seva in the temple? हाँ, लेकिन deity worship आपको temple में जाके करना है. Deity worship जरूरी है, लेकिन वो कहाँ करना है? वो temple में जाके करना है. Cooking for the deity is essential. Where will you cook? Go to the temple. That's what Prabhupada wanted. That, that everyone doesn't become isolated. कि सब island बन गए अपनी deity के साथ और कोई community नहीं है, कोई एक साथ सेवा नहीं कर रहा है. Temple is struggling. No. Yes. As a community, association, that is more priority. It's practical. It is more nurturing for the soul. And it is also serving the mission's needs. Our acharyas wanted to develop the mission, to assist in expanding and improving, and so many things have to be done. We're still a very young movement, only 50 years. Many corporations are now 200 years old. What to talk about the church, thousands of years old. बहुत कुछ करना है.
Prabhuji, one question. As you said that these 5 processes are very important, but as Prabhupada has always mentioned that preaching is the essence. So why this preaching part is not included in this? Because everything we do to to purify ourselves, and then as you were talking about the mission. So mission is to give it to others also. So how does these 5 link with the mission?
So if you don't do this, then what will we preach?
I get that, but
so if only when we are doing these properly, it gives us a platform to preach.
Okay.
अब कोई भजन नहीं होगा, कोई वर्शिप नहीं होगा, अब बुलाओगे कहाँ सबको? दिखाओ किसके दर्शन दो. So this is the platform for preaching.
So this sets the base for the preaching.
Yes. You take them to the dham. यात्रा नहीं होगी तो कितने लोग टिकेंगे, है ना? Some people they join only for yatra.
Yeah.
प्रभु जी कहाँ ले जा रहे हो next month? अरे अभी तो हो क्या हो? सच्ची में द्वारका में ऐसे भक्त हैं, वो हर महीने यात्रा में जाते हैं. होता है, मेरे को तो एक यात्रा में 3 साल लग गए एक प्लान they go on a yatra almost every month. They love it. You know, and thousands join. आपके नहीं जाते ना? Brother-in-law. Huh? Every month he takes yatra. He takes hundreds of people. It's amazing preaching. So when our bhajan is good, when our hearing is good, when our association is, healthy and strong and loving, then only we can preach. No, we can invite people. I hear experience. Otherwise, what will they experience? Okay, so we will end here now. Now we've gone way overboard. So sorry. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for your patient hearing. And thank you, Saurabh Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Krishna, Radhesham Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Madanwad to you. Navanitika Mataji, Hare Krishna, Alkaji, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Thank you
Hare
so
Krishna,
much, Prabhuji. Very, very nice class. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Give us your. I sent you a message the other day, Prabhu. I was going to call you. क्या आपका health कैसे है प्रभु जी आप?
It's better, Prabhuji. Not fully recovered as of now.
अभी भी shingles का pain है?
जी, Prabhuji. अभी है.
मैंने उस दिन आपको voice message भेजा था, आपने शायद.
Sorry, I missed it. पता नहीं somehow.
अच्छा, कोई बात नहीं प्रभु जी, I'll call you. Yes.
That's it. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very, very nourishing. Very, very nice class. It's such a treat to hear from you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Good.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.